Hi, this is Usha. Welcome to Rathod's IAS classes. Today in this lecture, we are going to see current affairs of 3rd August 2022. So let's get started with our discussion and let me give you a summary of this session. So what you are going to get after watching this session. So first, we are going to discuss one quote, especially motivational quote to boost your preparation. So later on, we are going to see some editorials in our Hindu newspaper. So apart from that, we are going to see some articles which are important from your prelims point of view, and also we are going to cover some important articles from even other sources like Indian Express, All India Radio, PIB. So if they are not covered in Hindu, we are going to cover them from other sources. And next one is we are going to see one topic of the day. So in this topic of the day, we are going to see a small topic in our GS. Either it may be from GS 1, 2 or 3 or 4, and we are going to have a small discussion on that topic so that you can update it with your static syllabus also. And we are going to give some practice questions for prelims and also mains at end, and we are going to discuss some vocabulary terminology as well. So this is a summary of session. So now let's get started, and now let us try to see the quote. So the quote of today is, "For every dark night there is a brighter day." So that is one of the excellent quote and I like the most, and it talks about how to start the day. Okay, so this quote which says that how to start the day. So for every dark night there is a brighter day. So every day, okay, every day we will be having some ups and downs. So we will be having good days and bad days in our life. But we need to be optimistic, and we need to see, and we need to focus, and we need to think on the positive side. So whenever you are doing hard work, automatically success will be there. But sometimes it will be fast, but sometimes it will be late. So whenever you are getting success late, you will be also getting some bonus of interest also. So you have to work every day, and you should be thinking about the positive things. And also you have to focus that I am going to give the best every day. And you have to give the best every day and try to love your work. So whenever you are loving work, automatically you will be generating interest. Okay, so this quote is very important for our UPSC preparation. Okay, for every dark night there is a brighter day. And now let us try to see some important editorials which appeared in our Hindu. So first topic, it is about freebies issue. So actually this freebies is seen in news from last 15 to 20 days. So now actually this article why I selected, because so it is having a different dimensions. Like, so instead of providing freebies, there are many other schemes in our country. For example, you can talk about food grain production. Okay, food grain distribution, especially that is Pradhan Mantri. We have this PMGKAY scheme, and also we have especially MG Narega, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act, and we have Midday Meals scheme. And even in our country there are a number of schemes which are focusing on the social security as well. So when we are investing in these schemes here, that will be helpful for the development of our economy. So this is the idea which is given regarding this topic. So now let us try to understand. So this topic is important from your GS paper 2 under polity point of view. So now let us try to see this topic in detail, and I will try my level best to make you understand. So why it is in news? So first and the foremost thing here is, so in our country, so there is a concern over freebies, okay, in our Indian politics. So here this is the one important thing which is mainly focused by highest officers in our country. Okay, so concern over this freebies in Indian politics has currently been expressed by those in the highest offices in the country. So apart from that, even recently in one inauguration, our Prime Minister, he also warned youth regarding reverie culture or Rewadi culture. So in this Rewadi culture, it is talking about promising of freebies. So by promising of freebies, they are mainly getting the vote bank, okay, especially political parties. So this is the second important thing. And next one here is, so recently a bench which led by our Chief Justice of India, that is N.V. Ramana sir, he heard a public interest litigation, in short PIL, that is PIL. So in this PIL, so he mainly heard this one petition. He argued about this promising of freebies, and he also said that whenever there is a promising of freebies is there, it is distorting the electoral process, because in our election process, so we need to ensure free and fair trade, right? But because of this freebies, it is affecting this free and fair trade. Okay, so this is the thing which is mainly highlighted here. So what are the important points here? You have to know about what is slavery culture and why our Prime Minister, he made a note on this slavery culture inauguration. And next one here is our CJI. Our CJI also heard a PIL, public interest litigation. Okay, so there the question asked here is what is the importance, whether it is relevance or not, whether we need to go for this freebies or not. So how these freebies have impact on our electoral process. So these are the two important things that you have to know, and this you can directly use in the introduction of your mains answer. And now, if you're talking about after hearing this petition, so what are the suggestions given by CJI? Okay, so whenever CJI is hearing this type of cases, yes, he need to give the suggestions, right? So what are the suggestions he gave? So first one here is, he said that, so central government, okay, government of India, it need to take some effective steps. Okay, it need to take some effective steps, and it is a responsibility of the central government to control the announcement of these freebies during these electoral campaigns. So during electoral campaigns, so some political parties say that we are going to provide free cylinders, we are going to provide free laptop, we are going to give free bicycles, washing machines, gold chains, like that. Okay, so here which is the responsibility, okay, which organization should be taken the responsibility? That is, the central government need to take some responsibility, and it need to control the announcements of freebies in electoral campaigns. So this is the first suggestions made by CJI. And second suggestion here is, we need to also take help of Finance Commission. So let me know what is this Finance Commission, whether it is a constitutional body or not. So what is the role of Finance Commission in this electoral campaigns? So in this way you have to think. Okay, so here what is a Finance Commission, you have to read, and let me know about some facts regarding this Finance Commission in the comment box. So here this Finance Commission that could be involved to look into the matters and propose solutions. Here we need to take help from this Finance Commission, and we need to involve this Finance Commission in this matter of freebies, and here it need to provide some solutions. So these are the two suggestions which are given by our CJI. So if you are talking about what is a basic argument regarding this freebies, so whenever there is a freebies, okay, that means after so and so party which came into power, which started providing free laptops or free bicycles, then what happened? That will lead to the waste of the resources. It is not going to provide or sustainable in the long run, right? So it is going to waste the resources, and whenever there is a lot of spending from the government is happening, that will lead to ultimately physical deficit as well. So these are the two important discussions or two important arguments. So here, besides providing this freebies, yes, we can go for coming up for some schemes, okay, instead of club goods like televisions, gold chains, etc. So we can focus on some schemes which are focusing on food security and as well as social security. For example, you can talk about public distribution system, right? And next one here is we can focus on this MG Narega scheme, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So whenever we are focusing on this such a type of schemes which providing some income security, which is providing some food security, social security, so that will lead to the development of the people. That will lead to the increasing of standard of people, not by providing the freebies. And if you are talking about this food grains distribution scheme, so recently during this corona related pandemic, so corona induced lockdowns, here people, they lost their livelihood, and people, they are at the verge of malnutrition, and even they are at the verge of starvation. So mainly to help those peoples, Government of India came up with this Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana. So under this, it providing the subsidized food grains for 80 crore rational card holders. So here, yes, government is doing well. So here, instead of investing in this freebie, so government can go for expansion of this scheme, because even though there are number of people who are eligible under this scheme, they had been excluded. Okay, so they need to be included. So this is the first suggestion. And what will be the advantages when you are investing in this Pradhan Mantri Garib Kalyan Anna Yojana? So first one here is people, they will have food security. So especially people who are mainly in the poverty, so they can't afford for the food grains. So whenever they are getting the subsidized food grains from the government, so that will helpful for fighting against hunger, right? And that will also ensure food security for the people. And apart from this, here government will be going and buying this food grains from the farmers ultimately. So here FCI, that is Food Corporation of India, which is mainly approaching the farmers and it is purchasing the food grains from the farmers directly. So here, because of this, here farmers, they will be getting proper remunerative prices and minimum support price as well. So in this way, it will be helpful for the aim of doubling of farmers' income. Okay, so in this way we will be having multiple advantages when we are focusing on this schemes, okay, rather than freebies. So I hope you understand this point. And if you move on to second scheme, that is Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act. So under this NREGA, so it is mainly implemented in rural areas but not in the urban areas, and under this scheme 100 days of guarantee employment will be given to the people who enroll into this scheme, right? So here under this they are going for preparation or they are going for development of assets in the rural areas. For example, they will be going for digging of canals or tanks, and they will be going for building of schools, hospitals, like that. So in this way that will be helpful for sustainable in the long run. Right. So during this pandemic especially, so due to this lockdowns, here people who had migrated to cities in the search of work, so they started coming to their rural areas. So we saw there is a reverse migration. So in this reverse migration trend, so people after they reached their homes, they start enrolling into this NREGA. So because of that, there is increased demand of this NREGA that is seen during this COVID-19 pandemic. So because of this NREGA, so it is providing some lifeline to these rural areas. So as you all know that in rural areas, so people, they will be working in the agriculture, or some people they are working as agricultural laborers. But in agriculture, they will be not getting the work throughout the year, right? Only during the seasons like Rabi season, Kharif season and Ziyad season they will be getting work. But what is the condition in the other time periods? So under this NREGA, so they will be getting some amount of job and they will be getting some minimum wages and they are going to sustain their livelihood. So here in this NREGA, yes, we need to go for good amount of funds, okay, and we need to go for increasing of employment opportunities as well. So that will be helpful for the rural economy development. And next one here is midday meals. I think you know about this midday meals program. So in the government school especially, so for the children, so they are going to serve the hot cooked meals along with a boiled egg, and sometimes they will be also providing one fruit, which is a locally available fruit. So here the midday meal scheme in the schools, they have proven to contribute increasing of enrollment and as well as retention in the school. So for example, if I want to send my child to school, okay, so I will be thinking that whether I can afford my children education or not. So and I will be thinking about, so what if I am sending my children into school, whether they are going to feel the starvation or not, whether I am able to provide the proper food or not. So in this way here, whenever the schools they started providing this midday meals, so here parents they had proper awareness, and what happened because of that awareness, they started sending their children to school. So one important thing here is, so why people they started sending their children to school. So what is the attitude here is, so those children they are going to get at least good meals in the afternoon. Okay, so because of this, that led to increasing of enrollment, especially in the rural areas and some disadvantaged areas or deprived sections of society. They started sending their children to school, and because of this, they are also going to school regularly, at least for the food. Okay, there is a retention that is mainly seen. Okay, so here this is the one important advantage. And even not only this midday meals program, so there are a number of schemes in our country which are mainly came up by the government of India, like old age scheme, single women and disabled pensions, community kitchens, okay, etc. So in this way they are mainly providing some social security and some income facility, and even the food security here. Okay, that will be having the important advantages in the long run. So even though there are some lacunae, like there is no proper coverage, there is no proper funds, and even there is no proper accountability, so these things are to be addressed rather than providing the freebies. So this is about this topic in detail. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding crypto regulation. So in this article we are going to focus on what is this GDPR. So this topic is important from your economy point of view, which mainly comes in the GS paper 3, and this is important from your mains. So now let us try to see this in detail. So first of all, let us try to understand what is this cryptocurrency. I hope you can see one infographic on the screen, right? So this infographic, it is talking about what is exactly the cryptocurrency. So cryptocurrency, it is nothing but, I can say, digital money. So but this money, it is created or generated by using a code. So whenever you are going for the solving of this code, yes, we will be generating cryptocurrency. So this cryptocurrency economy, it is mainly monitored by peer-to-peer internet protocol, and this cryptocurrency, which is encrypted string of data or a hash encoded to signify one unit of currency. So it is how we are using this printed currency. Okay, in the same way we can use this cryptocurrency for the different purposes. So if you're talking about some examples, so we have Bitcoin, we have Ethereum, we have XRP, market cap. So these are some examples of this cryptocurrency. And as I said, we are going to focus on this GDPR, that is General Data Protection Regulation. So what is General Data Protection Regulation and what is significance? So why we need this? So these are some important dimensions we need to think about. So what is this General Data Protection Regulation? So actually this General Data Protection Regulation, so it redefines understanding of individual relationship. So it is talking about, yes, there is a need of individual relationship with their personal data. So for example, you can talk about email IDs, you can talk about ID card numbers, you can talk about physical and IP addresses. So here we need to have a proper understanding of individual relationship with their personal data. And the law which mainly grants citizens substantial rights in his or her relation with data controllers and as well as data processors. So if you are downloading any app, so in that app, so they will be giving information like we are going to have access to your photos, your mobile contact numbers, messages, mails, etc. So you will be clicking on that, simply I accept, right? So here after you once click this accept, so the data which is present in your mobile, that will be taken by this data controllers, and after that they will be going for data processing, right? So here because of this, okay, because of this General Data Protection Regulation, so it mainly helpful for substantial rights in interaction with the data controllers and as well as data processors. So these data controllers, they determine why and how data is collected, and data processors, they say about how the processing of data is happening on behalf of controllers. So what is the significance of this regulation? Yes, we need this type of regulation, especially when we are having this type of regulations, then we can get some consent terms. Okay, so under this GDPR, so data controller, they will have to provide consent forms that, so we are going to have this type of data, okay, we are going to collect this type of data from you. Okay, so we need to have some consent. So after reading consent only, we can give our consent, whether we can accept them or we are not accepting them. And this regulation, which also requires the data collectors to provide information on who and how. Okay, they are also going to provide who they are and how they are collecting the data. So what are the methods? So which data they are going to collect. And individuals, they will also have a right to have personal data deleted under certain conditions. So if there is any need of deleting any personal data, yes, you can also contact with them and you can also delete your personal data. And reporting obligations and enforcement, they are made stronger under this GDPR. So under this GDPR, so if there are any obligations, if there is any enforcement, so they are made stronger. And next one here is data breaches have been reported within 72 hours. So here if there is any data breach, so that need to be informed within 72 hours. So if they are mainly failing to reporting of this data breach, means yes, they could mainly attracted under fine. So the fine will be like 4% of the global turnover of maximum amount. Okay, so here they have to pay 4% of the global turnover, or the maximum amount here is 2 million euros. So we are talking about European Union GDPR. Okay, so now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding Antarctica activities. So why is Antarctica is in news? Because in Lok Sabha and in Rajya Sabha, Indian Antarctic bill which had been passed. So here we need to know about some provisions of that bill. So why we need that? Okay, what is Antarctic Treaty, etc. So this article is important from your GS paper 2 under polity, and even this article will be important regarding your GS paper 3 under environment and ecology. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. So if you see here context, it mainly says that Parliament which has passed Indian Antarctic Bill 2022 in Rajya Sabha. Okay, so I think 2 or 3 days ago, so this bill had been passed in Lok Sabha. So once this bill passed in Lok Sabha, again this bill will be introduced in Rajya Sabha, and after once this bill which passed in both the houses, and that bill will be placed before President for assent. So whenever the assent of President is given, then that bill will become an act. So this is the procedure. I think you may know about this procedure, right? So here, why it is in news? So in our Parliament, in both the houses, in Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, so this Indian Antarctic Bill had been passed, and it is one of the important step forward in our engagement with this continent. Antarctica is a continent, right? So here, because of this bill which passed, so it is mainly the one of the important step in our engagement with the continent, and which began way back in February 1956. So actually in February 1956, so there was some consensus which had happened regarding this Antarctica. So actually at that time, okay, the then leaders of India like Jawaharlal Nehru, V.K. Krishna Menon, so they become at that time here the first country in the world to request the item for this 11th United Nations General Assembly here. So we focused on the question of Antarctica. So in this question of Antarctica, so we mainly said that we need to ensure vast areas and its resources were used entirely for the peaceful purposes. So whatever the thing that we are going and we are doing in this Antarctica, so that should be for the peaceful purposes, and that should help for the general public at large. So this is a thing which mainly said by Jawaharlal Nehru and as well as V.K. Krishna Menon. So what are the objectives and aims of this bill? So first one here is we are especially focusing on protecting of this Antarctic environment. So recently there is one report that there is increasing of this black carbon in this Antarctic region because of this vehicular emissions in this Antarctic region. So whenever there is increasing of black carbon, that will lead to melting of this ice. Correct? So first one here is we need to focus on protecting of this Antarctic environment and related ecosystems as well. And we need to provide a policy framework. Okay, so we need to provide a policy framework for India's Antarctic activities, so that we need to establish a legal mechanism. So for that this bill is very important. And next one here is, so here we need to focus on even management of Antarctic tourism and also sustainable development of fisheries in this area. And here we need to prohibit carrying out some activities without any permit. Okay, and we are also focusing on regular inspections in this Antarctic region. And we need to prohibit drilling, dredging, excavation or collection of mineral resources, etc. in this region. So these are some important aims and objectives that you need to know. And now let us try to see what are the prohibited activities. So the prohibited activities are there should be no use of Antarctica for nuclear explosion. So there should be no nuclear explosion, or there should be no disposal of this radioactive waste, and here we should not introduce any non-sterile soil in this Antarctic region, and there should not be any discharge of garbage or plastic or other substance into sea here, because it is very much harm for the marine environment which is present there. Okay, so these are some prohibited activities. And if you are talking about some facts regarding this Antarctica Treaty, so in 1959, 12 countries, okay, in 1959, 12 countries like Argentina, Australia, Belgium, Chile, France, Japan, New Zealand, Norway, South Africa and USSR and even UK and US, they signed this Antarctic Treaty. So what is this Antarctic Treaty? It is about? It is about especially focusing on, so we should not use this continent for the militarization purpose, but what are the activities we are going to do? So that should be mainly focusing on just peaceful use of activities. And more countries including India have become party to the treaty, and today it counts about 54 members in this treaty. So what is significance of this treaty? So this treaty which mainly provides some measures, okay, and it also telling about countries need to adopt some laws and regulations, and they need to take some timely actions and enforcement measures to compliance, okay, to ensure there is a compliance with the protocol. And this one here is countries, they also signed the Protocol on Environmental Protection to Antarctic Treaty in 1991, which designated Antarctica as a natural reserve devoted to this peace and science. Okay, so it is also focusing on Protocol of Environmental Protection. So this is the significance. And if you talk about why we need this type of bill now, so first one is there is increasing of presence of Indian scientists in Antarctica. So we need to ensure that yes, we are aligned with the Antarctic Treaty. So because of this, we need to have this domestic legislation. And law will enable this India's courts to deal with the disputes of these crimes, and these crimes are related to this Antarctica. So because of this, we need proper guidelines. We need proper legislation. And if you're talking about some important treaties that are associated with this Antarctic Ocean or Antarctic region, here is the first one is Antarctic Treaty, as I said earlier, and we have Madrid Protocol, and we have International Convention on Regulation of Whaling, and this one is United Nations Convention on the Law of Sea. Okay, so these are some important treaties. Okay, and if you're talking about why this Antarctic Treaty is important and what are the main points, so it said that there should be no military use, there should be the freedom of science investigations, so we can go for only doing of science, and free exchange of scientific plans and data. Whenever any country which is having some data means, so that data need to be shared. And this one here is any territorial claims, they should be put on hold, and we need to make or we need to ensure this Antarctica, it is a nuclear free zone, and we need to focus on especially all stations open to inspections by the other nations, and the national laws apply to citizens, not to the areas. And this treaty may be modified at any time, and it requires anonymous agreement of treaty nations as well. Okay, so here these are some important main points. And now let us try to see next topic. It is regarding PMLA, Prevention of Money Laundering Act, near impossible or not. So what are the bail we need to get under this Prevention of Money Laundering Act? It is impossible or possible. So this article is important from your GS paper to under polity. So now let us try to see this topic in detail. So recently Supreme Court, especially the case, the name of the case is Vijay Mandan Lal Chowdhury versus Union of India. So in this Vijay Mandan Lal Chowdhury versus Union of India, it gave the judicial stamp of approval of twin conditions of bail under this section 45(1). So section 45(1) of Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which mainly talks about two conditions. We need to know those two conditions. So actually why we came up with this Prevention of Money Laundering Act? So especially we came up with the objective of to prevent money laundering in India. Okay, not only this Prevention of Money Laundering Act deals with this, but even some sections of this code of criminal code also focuses on this. So in section 45(1) of Prevention of Money Laundering Act, which mainly requires that before a person is released on bail or bond, so the public prosecutor must initially be given an opportunity to oppose the application. Okay, so here under this section 45(1) of Prevention of Money Laundering Act, it mainly says that so before a person who is released on bail, okay, or any bond, so public prosecutor, so they must initially they need to give opportunity to oppose the application. Okay, so whenever any person who mainly arrested under this Prevention of Money Laundering Act, so that petition need to be opposed by this public prosecutor. And second important one here is, so when application is opposed, so the court need to look into the reasonable grounds. So what are those reasonable grounds? Okay, and they need to commit, okay, they need to come up with whether they want to provide this bail or not. So in this way here, Supreme Court, by upholding such stringent provisions under the provisions of this presumption of innocence, so that an under trail remains innocent until proven guilty. So here in this way here, Supreme Court, which mainly said that so we need to go for this principles of presumption of innocence. So here whenever any person who got arrested or remain as under trail, so they will be considered as innocent until the guilty which had been proved. And next topic here, it is regarding Al-Qaeda chief killed in US strike in Kabul. So this is that person, okay, who mainly killed. So the name here is Ayman al-Zawahiri, okay, Ayman al-Zawahiri. So he is the leader of Al-Qaeda now. So actually he mainly killed in this Kabul itself. Okay, Kabul is located in Afghanistan. So if you see some details here, so Jawahari, he was born on June 19th, 1951, and he was inspired by the radical writings of Egyptian Islamists and as well as Sayyid Qutb, and they mainly believed that replacing of this infidel Arab regimes with the Islamist rule. So because of this ideology, he had been influenced. And Jawahari, he became a surgeon in 1970s, and he also became more active in this militant circles. Okay, and he also acted as a right hand man for this Osama bin Laden, and he also helped to coordinate in the 9/11 terror attacks in India as well. So because of this is very important, and this topic is important from your international relations. So here if you say context, it mainly says that US president, he announced that here US had killed Al-Qaeda chief, that is Ayman al-Zawahiri. Okay, so he is one of the world's most wanted terrorists, and he also suspected mastermind of this September 11, 2001 attack. So here if you are talking about details of this article, so in the television address, here's US president, he declared that, so by using the drone attack in Kabul in Afghanistan, so they had carried out Saturday, so they killed, okay, leader of this Al-Qaeda. So officials said that this Jawahari presence in this Afghan capital was a clear violation of deal of Taliban which signed with the US in the 2020. And now let us try to see what are the key provisions and which provision which had been violated. So first one is troop withdrawal. So whenever US is going to withdraw its troops, okay, so it said that it is going to withdraw 1800 troops in 135 days, and NATO or coalition group members will also be brought down. So this is the first provision of this US Taliban peace deal. And second one here is Taliban commitment. So the main counter-terrorism commitment by Taliban is that Taliban will not allow any members, okay, or any other individuals in the groups including Al-Qaeda to use this soil of this Afghanistan to threaten the security of US. Okay, but it happened. And this one here is sanction removal. So United Nations sanctions on these Taliban leaders to be removed by the 3 months. Okay, so they said that what are the sanctions they imposed, so they are going to remove the sanctions, and they also asked for this release of these prisoners. So this is also had been done. So these are some important provisions of this US Taliban peace deal. And now let us try to say next topic. It is regarding trade deficit. So trade deficit increased, okay, in the month of July. So now let us try to see this topic in detail, and this topic is important from your economy point of view. So this economy which comes under your GS paper 3. So title says trade deficit soared, that is trade deficit had been increased. So here India's merchandise trade deficit widened sharply to a record $31.02 billion in the month of July. So it is according to preliminary trade estimates. So we are talking about details regarding trade deficit. So whenever there is increasing of imports compared to that of exports, so that condition is called as a trade deficit. Okay. So trade deficit means nothing but whenever there are imports or more compared to that of exports. So here in this trade balance, so we will be come across two words, that is trade deficit and trade surplus. So trade deficit means nothing but whenever the imports are more compared to that of exports, that is called as negative, that is called as trade deficit. And whenever there is incomes which are less compared to that of exports, so what are the money we are generating from this exports is more compared to that of imports, then that is called as trade surplus. So what is significance of this trade deficit? So whenever you are having trade deficit, so the demand in the country's economy is not being met. Okay, so demand in this domestic economy is not being met by these domestic producers. So because of this, we are having deficit. There is no demand for the imports of so and so country in the external market. And next one here is, so many times this deficit which mainly signifies that there is lack of competitiveness of this domestic industry. So there is no proper competition, right? Okay, so this is about this topic. And actually we came up with this mains answer writing program of 1 year in this Rathod IAS Academy. So this course is absolutely beneficial, and this is how this program goes. First schedule is given, and later on you are going to prepare on those topics. So daily one question will be given. So you are going to write answer, and that answer you are going to send to our mail ID, so that there will be evaluation, and after evaluation, so the corrected copy will be resent to our mail, and you have to check back, and finally you can improve that. So try to join this course, and the cost is just 8,200 rupees for 1 year. So if you have any doubts, so please call me on this number 8074765513. And now let us try to see some other important articles from the different sources. Title says representation all the way up. So this article, it is about local self-government. So this local self-government is a one important area where you can get every year one question in your mains. So there are some themes in your UPSC syllabus, especially from either GS1, GS2, GS3 or GS4. So every year there will be repeating of those themes will be there. So one of that theme in this GS paper 2 from your polity here is local self-government. That is 73rd and 74th Constitution Amendment Act. So please be prepared, and if you are getting any article regarding this local self-government, so please don't leave that. So try to go through that once. So why it is in news? Because recently you know that we had elected our 15th President of India. That is recently Draupadi Murmu. She belongs to one tribal community, that is Santal community from Odisha. She became the 15th President of our India, and she recently sworn as 15th President of India. So how that woman, okay, she belongs to this Santal tribe. How this woman became as a 15th President of India. So because of some reforms, we come up at this local level, that is in the local self-government. So because of reforms we came up. So because of that reforms, it made this tribal woman 15th President of India. So because of this 73rd and 74th Constitution amendments, so that mainly led to the democratic decentralization, and because of this democratic decentralization, which played a key role in diversifying the representation in our politics. So we're talking about what are the reforms that we came up, okay, for the women's in this local self-government. So if you have gone through this 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, so if you have gone through this panchayat especially, so there is one provision of reservation for women in this local self-government. Okay, so minimum 1/3 of seats have to be reserved for this woman, and beyond this 33%, there are some states where the tribal population is high. For example, you can talk about West Bengal and even some states like Bihar. So they came up with increasing of women reservation in this local self-government from 33% to 50%. But here what are the issues? The issues of this local self-government is they do not have proper resources. Actually, they do not have proper financial and administrative power. And here there is one provision of expansion of reservation, not only for this ST and ST but even other caste groups. And here judiciary which has been quite skeptical regarding the reforms in this local self-government. And also there is one issue regarding this Sarpanch Pati or Panchayat Pati. So these are some important issues that we are seeing in our local self-government. So if you are talking about some studies which say that yes, women-led panchayats, they are mainly investing more in the public goods, and here women, they are prioritizing the infrastructure, okay, and even whenever the women are coming into the politics, that will leads to increasing of women's involvement in the village affairs. So here women, they are the most important managers that we can say. So in the home also, so here we can say what is your mother does, means we can say my mother is a housewife or a homemaker. So you can understand what is the responsibility of a woman. She is taking in her house, so she is taking care of children, she is taking care of kitchen, she is taking care of finance of that so and so family. So here because of this, here we can say woman is a multitasker. So that there are number of studies also proven this, that women-led panchayats, they invest more in the public goods, and as well as they are prioritizing the infrastructure as well. Okay, so that will help for the sustainable development in the future. So I want to give you one mains question, as I said. So question here is, have the quota policy of women in local self-government delivered towards political empowerment of women critically comment. So you have to comment about, so whatever the constitutional provisions or the reservations that are present in our constitution regarding the 73rd and 74th Constitutional Amendment Act, whether they are leading truly for the empowerment of women or not. So let me know here. Okay, so try to write answer, and answer should not be more than 150 words, and try to post your answer in the comment box. And next topic here, it is regarding drone rules 2021. Private players, they can use drones for delivery purpose. So here we have to focus on these drone rules, and actually now let us try to see why it is in use. So government is utilizing the service of drone providers. Okay, so government is using some services, okay, providing some services by using drones, for example for vaccine delivery in the remote areas, and inspection of oil pipes, and as well as power transmission lines and agriculture spraying, etc. So now here private players, they can also do these services. So in 2021, so here government also came up with this production linked incentive scheme, and this scheme which mainly focused on the growth of drone manufacturing by the private companies. So here if you are talking about some key aspects of this drone rules 2021, so here the first one here is there is need of registration, and we need to have a unique identification number, that is UIN. So every drone, okay, there are some exceptions like drones which are used for research and development and testing purposes. Okay, so every drone, they need to have some registration, and they need to get this ID number. And segregating entire airspace. So airspace, it is now divided into red zone, yellow zone and green zone. So if you want to fly in this red zone and yellow zone, you need to take approval. Okay, and if you want to fly drone in this green zone, there is no need of approval. And next one is here, under these rules it also empowers state and as well as union territories government. So here now state government and UT government and some law enforcement agencies, they have been empowered under the rules to declare a temporary red zone, okay, for the specified period. And now there is a requirement of personal details also. So owners or the people who are operating these drones, they need to provide information. Okay, and next one here is authorization of remote pilot training organization. Okay, so it will be done by this DGCA. And next one is if there is any violation, yes, there is a provision of punishment. Okay, without punishment we can't do anything, right? So yes, if there is any violation, yes, there is a punishment. So what is a punishment here? So punishment which mainly comes under rule 49 of these drone rules. And if you are talking about how can we use these drones in agriculture, so for example, we can use these drones for the weather glitches. So we can go for monitoring of weather, and we can go for spraying of herbicides, pesticides, etc. And we can also go for geofencing. We can go for monitoring of crop, whether the water is adequate or not, whether there is a need of spraying of this weedicide or not. We can use these drones, and we can monitor the growth of the plants, and we can go for plantation, and even soils and field analysis can be done by using these drones. And we can also go for livestock management. That means if you are leaving your livestock for the grazing purpose, so where they are present exactly, so we can understand the location where they are present exactly by using these drones. And we can also go for checking of crop health. Okay, so if there is any requirement of water, so we can see, okay, on the drones, and such that we can go for owning of motor, such that there is a proper water supply. And this one is we can also avoid chemical use, over chemical use also. So if you want to spray this 500 grams, okay, for example, let us take 500 grams of this pesticide or chemical which is required. So we can use these drones, and we can fix a limit such that we can prevent the overuse of this fertilizer or chemicals, etc. So these are some important potential advantages of this drone in the agriculture, and you can use this type of images as well. And next topic, it is about sowing the artificial intelligence seed for intelligent farming. So this article is important from your agriculture, which comes under your GS paper 3. And now let us try to see why it is in use. So Telangana government, which promoted the use of artificial intelligence in agriculture innovation program. In agriculture innovation program, especially the state of Telangana, which mainly promoted the use of artificial intelligence. So actually this word artificial intelligence, which firstly coined by this John McCarthy. So whenever there is a star mark, okay, which I am keeping, means you have to know that facts for sure, and you have to by heart them, because it will be important whenever you are preparing for your other state public service examination or even for your UPSC. So you have to see this star mark for sure. So John McCarthy, he is American computer scientist. He came up with this word, that is artificial intelligence. So if we are talking about applications of artificial intelligence in agriculture, so we can go for efficient and cost effective use of artificial intelligence, and that will be helpful for proper resource and yield management, and we can enable the smart agriculture, and we can also go for production analysis, okay, whether the proper amount of water is enough or not. So if there is a need of excess water, or if there is any requirement of weedicide or herbicide, etc. And we can also go for addressing of supply demand mismatch, and we can go for analysis on the real time and precision farming. Precision farming is what is required, so we are going to give that. So we are not going to give anything excess. And what are the challenges when we want to use this artificial intelligence? So there is no proper infrastructure that is available, and if you want to get that infrastructure, it is also very much costly, and there is no proper awareness among the farmers, and most of the farmers are illiterates to use this artificial intelligence. And as one important problem that we are facing is fragmentation of land. For example, if you take one family who is having, so owner of this family or the head of this family who have, for example, let us take 10 acres of land. So 10 acres means we will having good, that is 4 hectares of land. But for example, if this so and so person who is having 4 sons, for example, let us take his this farmer, he is having 4 sons. So this 10 acres of land will be divided into 4 parts. So now here the portion of the land which is given to the first son here is 2.5 acres, that is 1 hectare. So here if this so and so person who is having 10 sons, means what is the condition? So each and every one will be having just 1 acre of land. So this is the one problem that we are facing, that is the fragmentation of land. So earlier we used to have joint families, and the work will be done jointly, okay, by all the people of the family. But now we are moving towards a trend of nuclear families. That is one of the important reason for the fragmentation of the land. So because of this fragmentation of land, so when we want to use this artificial intelligence, it is not viable. And if you are talking about what measures can be taken, so ICAR came up with some initiatives. For example, cyber agro physical systems, and it mainly focusing on making Indian farming a viable, self-sustaining and internationally competitive enterprise. And even Niti Aayog, which also identified agriculture, it is one of the important focus area. Okay, so this is the one important focus area we need to focus. There we can use this artificial intelligence. And if you are talking about case studies, there are some other states, for example, Karnataka. Karnataka came up with a partnering with this MNC for agriculture produce price related information intelligence using some predictive modeling. And not only this Karnataka, but even UP also collaborating with this Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation to set up Indian Agri-Tech Incubation Network at this IIT Kanpur. And this one is Maharashtra. Maharashtra also launched this Maha Agri-Tech project, and this project which is mainly utilizing and promoting the application of satellites and as well as drone to solve some agrarian problems. So this is about case studies, and this case studies will become handy whenever you are writing your essay and even in your mains answer. So as you all know that artificial intelligence is one of the important area which is also one of the focus area of UPSC, and you can get essay from this topic. So these case studies and this data will be very handy. And if you're talking about artificial intelligence, so what all includes? It includes computer vision, it includes machine learning, it includes biometric, robotics, and as well as sensors. So this diagram is also very important. And now let us try to see the topic of day. So in this topic of day, every day we are going to discuss a small topic from your static syllabus. So today I am going to discuss about these pillars of Mauryan period. So one question I want to ask here is whether these pillars, they are the structures which came only in this Mauryan period. No. So not only in this Mauryan period, but before this Mauryan period also we used to have pillars. So those pillars are called as Achaemenian pillars. But there is a lot of difference between this Achaemenian pillars and as well as this Mauryan period pillars. So if we are talking about structure of this Mauryan period, so we will be having 4 important parts. So we have one base, that is a monolithic base. So that is also called as shaft. It is also called as shaft, and this shaft, it is made up of only single stone, that is a monolithic shaft. It is a one important feature of this Mauryan pillars. So above this shaft we have capital. So capital, it is like lotus or a bell shaped. Okay, so it is an inverted lotus or a bell shaped capital is there. On this capital we will be having abacus. Okay, so abacus, it is sometimes circular or sometimes it is a rectangular base. On this abacus we will be having a crowning animal. Okay, for example, you have lion, you have bull, or you have elephant. Okay, so this is structure of this Mauryan pillars. So after dealing with this topic of day, so I have to give you one question, right? So what are the similarities and what are the differences between the Mauryan pillars and Achemenian pillars? So try to read this topic from your Nitin Singhania and let me know in the comment box. And now let us try to see the prelims practice questions. So I am going to give 3 practice questions from this current affairs itself so that you will be having idea. So first one is the fundamental object of Panchayat Raj system. It is to ensure which of the following. So actually it is a previous year's question regarding this local self-government. So first one is participation and development. Second one is political accountability, democratic decentralization, financial mobilization. So choose the correct answer. And this one here is which of the following or below the given page are correctly matched. So on one side we have excess and one side we have country. So recently there is one exercise regarding this windbags and Al-Naja. So I discussed this topic in our yesterday's current affairs. Okay, so please try to give me the correct answer. And next question is regarding drone rules 2021. Okay, so you have to read the statements and give me the correct option. So these are the 3 prelims practice questions. And now let us try to see the vocabulary. So in this vocabulary we are going to see the important words that you can use in your mains. So you are not preparing for your any SSC or RBI examinations. So here we are here to prepare for UPSC examination. So which are the terminology that you can use in your examinations? So we are going to discuss that. So first one is recall. Recall means bring. So bring back into your one's mind. For example, it may be either fact, it may be either any event or any situation. So you are going to bring back. That is called as recall. And this one is freebies. So free means nothing but, so those are the things that are provided with a free of cost. You need not pay anything. So you will be getting that free of cost. That is called as freebies. And this one is club goods. So these club goods are also called as artificial scarce goods. For example, they are mainly often provided by natural monopolies. For example, you can talk about televisions, you can talk about cinemas, wireless internet, toll roads, etc. So they are having some monopoly. So these are called as club goods. Okay, so this is about this vocabulary. And I want to make a small announcement. We in Rathod Science, we came up with this prelims test series, and this prelims test series, it is going to be started from this August 7th. Okay, so try to join this course, and the cost of this course is just 3,000 rupees for 1 year. So don't take this as a choice, because practicing of question is very important to clear your prelims. So this prelims, it is one of the toughest now, okay, because UPSC is trying to eliminate maximum students in this first level itself. So try to be prepared and try to practice more so that you can join this test series that we are offering, and it is a very affordable for the people as well. So try to join this course. So if you have any doubts, you can call me on this number 8074765513. So by this I am concluding. So what are the questions I asked? So I am expecting the answers will be there in the comment box. So please give me your comments in the comment box. So by this I am concluding, and if you are new to this Rathod IAS Academy, so try to subscribe to this Rathod IAS Academy and hit the bell icon so that you will be getting regular notifications. And try to join the Telegram channel. There we are going to share this PDF as well. Okay. So and one more thing here is I have to share you the PDF of this Hindu, right? So now let us have a look over this Hindu as well. So this is our today's Hindu newspaper. Actually, I forgot to share because the video already had been very much lengthy. So first article, it is regarding Pelosi lands in Taiwan. So China slams US. Okay, so this article which is mainly talking about some issues between China, US and as well as Taiwan. So here we have to know about what are the some issues between this China and US and as well as China and Taiwan. So this is your homework. And next topic is about Al-Qaeda. So I discussed this topic. And next one, it is regarding rupee is not collapsing, says our finance minister. So here recently there is one article that is in the today's newspaper itself. It says that so here rupee it is appreciating somewhat. And if you move forward, there is nothing much important in our city page and also the states page also, and you can directly move on to your editorial page. So here in this states page, there is one article that is rain batters Kerala and tall hits 12. So there is a heavy rainfall and heavy downpour it is seen in this Kerala. So especially if you are from Kerala, you have to know about what are the reasons and what are the steps are taken by the state governments, okay, to deal with the situation. And here you can see CAG pulls up Odisha for missing targets. Here Comptroller and Auditor General of India has found concentration of plantation activities, okay, so they are not being done. And next article it is regarding 4 states in South top misuse of MG Narega. So those 4 states are AP, Telangana. Next one is Karnataka and as well as Tamil Nadu. So there are highest number of cases of financial misappropriation that is seen in the implementation of this MG Narega. So here you have to know about what is the scheme and what are the advantages and what are the disadvantages. And if you move forward here, you can see architect of national flag honored in AP. So who is the architect of our national flag? That is Pingali Venkaya. So if you are preparing for other examinations, so this point is very important. And if you move forward here, in this editorial, I discussed about this freebies issue and I discussed about this cryptocurrency. And in this op-ed page, I discussed about this India Antarctic Bill. And this text and context, I discussed about this PMLA and bail issue. And in this states page, that is page number 12, there is one article that is important regarding India and Maldives relations. Yes, you have to refer or revise some parts regarding this India and Maldives relations, for example, political, economic, so how the trade is happening, so what are the joint exercises, so recent developments, so you have to know about that. And if you move on to this page number 13, there is one article regarding this wildlife protection bill. So wildlife protection bill gets a Lok Sabha nod. So here you have to know about this wildlife protection bill. So once it also passed in the Rajya Sabha, we are going to discuss that topic for sure in our future analysis. And next one is 2 more monkeypox cases confirmed. So here we have to be alert, and whenever you are going outside also, so please be alert and please don't come in the contact with the people who have this monkeypox virus, because preparation is important for us and we should not succumb in any other health issues. And if you move forward in this business page, there is article regarding trade deficit. I discussed this topic, and there is one article regarding rupee jumps 53 paise to close to 1 month high. So from the last 1 month we are seeing there is a depreciation, and now we can see there is appreciation of this rupee of 0.53 paise, 0.53 rupee. And next topic is regarding jobless rate slips to 6.8, a 6-month low. So here this article is talking about this CMIE data regarding rural unemployment. Okay, so you have to make this data in your data bank so that will be useful whenever you are writing your answer. So by this I am concluding. Thank you so much.